All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and Councilmember Nguyen will join us here in a moment. We have reconvened, and I'd like to make the following disclosure from closed session. By a 5-0 vote, the City Council authorized and directed the City Attorney's Office to continue to defend the 4 cases listed at Section A of the City Council Special Meeting Agenda as identified by the case numbers on that agenda. So we will now adjourn the special meeting at 6:16 p.m. and switch over to our regular meeting. So at this time, I will call to order the Elk Grove City Council regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. It is 6:16 p.m. Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. This meeting of the Elk Grove City Council will be replayed on Metro Cable Channel 14 on Friday, September 30th at 1 p.m. and Saturday, October 1st at 7 p.m. It is being closed captioned. Will be webcast at sacmetrocable.tv. City Council meeting videos are also archived on the city's website at elkgrovecity.org. For members of the participating audience who may have personal electronic devices, please place them on silent mode during the meeting or on mute when you are not speaking. Elk Grove City Council welcomes, appreciates, and encourages participation in the City Council meeting. City Council requests that you limit your presentation to 3 minutes per person so that all present will have time to participate. City Council reserves the right to reasonably limit the total time for public comment on any particular noticed agenda item as it may deem necessary. Pursuant to Resolution Number 2010-24, no individual speaker concerning public comment may address the City Council for more than 3 minutes. If you wish to address the Council during the meeting, please complete a speaker card. Those are the blue cards, which can be found at the back of the chamber, and provide them to our Deputy City Clerk prior to consideration of the agenda item. With that, Mayor, we will move into the roll call. And for that roll, I will be starting with Councilmember Nguyen.
Here.
Councilmember Spies.
Present.
Councilmember Hume.
Here.
Vice Mayor Suen.
Here.
And Mayor Singh Allen.
Here. All right, next up is our Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to invite Councilmember Nguyen to lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And at this time, we'll observe a brief moment of silence, please. Thank you. All right, next up, we have the approval of the agenda. May I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Very good. Clerk?
Under Section 3, there are no closed session items on the regular agenda, which will advance us to Section 4, our presentations and announcements, and that first being item 4.1, which is a proclamation in recognition of Hispanic Heritage Month.
All right, excellent. I would like to call up Nitza Medina Garcia to the podium as we recognize Hispanic Heritage Month, September 15th, 2022 to October 15th, 2022. Whereas Hispanic Heritage Month is an official celebration of Hispanic Americans whose ancestry can be traced back to Spain, Mexico, Central and South America, and the Caribbean, a recognition that started as a week-long celebration in 1968 and 20 years later expanded to dedicate a month recognizing the generations of Hispanic Americans who have positively influenced and enriched our society. Whereas the objectives of Hispanic Heritage Month are to create a greater awareness of Hispanic contributions to American culture by celebrating the histories, cultures, and customs to illustrate the diversity of Hispanic community and to encourage a greater curiosity with generations about the rich ancestry and cultural heritage of Hispanics. And whereas the City of Elk Grove is honored to recognize accomplished certified records manager and business owner Nitza Medina Garcia, who started Info Compass Inc. in 2015, is one of the top iManage records manager trainers and implementers in the business, and has served on the board of directors of the Elk Grove Chamber of Commerce and the Rotary Club of Laguna Sunrise, and is currently a Girl Scout troop leader. And whereas Medina Garcia earned her bachelor's degree in history at the University of California, Davis, and her master's degree in library and information services at Pratt Institute, has served in a variety of records and information management consultant roles throughout her career at organizations including Hunter College, Archives of Episcopal Church, Interwoven Hewlett-Packard, and more. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove hereby affirms and proclaims September 15th, 2022 through October 15th, 2022 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the City of Elk Grove, and encourages the community to celebrate a collective progress shared with the Hispanic community, learn by seeing the strength that derives from our diversity, and honor a shared spirit of determination, dignity, and respect for cultural heritage. Congratulations. Would you like to say something, and then we'll come down and present this to you?
Sure. I just wanted to first thank you, Mayor and Council, for the recognition. We're truly honored to be noticed, and so thank you so much. I want to thank my mother, who is here today, Cecilia Medina, who is a great, hardworking example that I try to pattern my life after, as well as my husband, Daniel Garcia, my rock, and I hope to be a great role model for my two daughters who are here, Sophia and Ana Garcia. So thank you once again.
Congratulations. So stay right there. We'll be
Thank
right
you.
down. All right. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have a proclamation. Oops, sorry, let me get my mic on. Next up, we have a proclamation recognizing September 2022 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. My colleague will read that one.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members, I do have an update, which is unfortunately our consistent face that we've seen and champion and advocate, Mr. Raleigh Swingle, was not able to make it this evening. So he continues to fight the good fight. He just had to sit this round out for this evening, not able to make it in attendance for tonight. So it's at the council's discretion. If you wish to have the item read aloud, that's an opportunity. But I'll also coordinate with Mr. Swingle to let him know of the availability of the proclamation.
I did look out and notice that I didn't see him in the audience, and so I'm glad to hear that he's still well, and I would be happy to put it over till the next meeting in September if we want.
Sounds good.
Is that okay?
All right. Next up is our proclamation declaring October 2022 as Community Planning Month. I'd like to call up Antonio Ablog, and our Vice Mayor will read the proclamation.
All right, thank you, Mayor. So there's an old saying that says planning is bringing the future to the present so you can do something about it now. And so I just want to take this opportunity to commend Antonio and all the planning staff at the city for the great work that you've done in doing something about our future now and things that have come to fruition, like our Civic Center and our preserve area, and things that will be coming in the future. The Elk Grove General Plan, the Municipal Code, the Elk Grove City of Elk Grove Development Services and Strategic Planning and Innovation Departments administer policies and codes to help manage and change the way that it builds upon the city's assets and promotes the public health, safety, comfort, convenience, prosperity, and general welfare of residents and businesses in the city. And so, as the mayor mentioned, we're recognizing National Community Planning Month, and so we couldn't be more honored to recognize your profession and all of you that work for the city. So, whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by the professional community and regional planners of the city of Elk Grove, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these individuals. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Elk Grove hereby proclaim the month of October 2022 as Community Planning Month, and we encourage our residents to join with their communities to participate in the community planning process. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Suen, Mayor Singh Allen, members of the City Council, Antonio Ablog here, your planning manager. Thank you for recognizing planning staff and also members of the Planning Commission and community planners with the recognition that October is Community Planning Month. As far as city staff, not just planning staff, but strategic planning and housing staff, we have 8 planners between us, also 2 housing specialists. We have 3 planners that are certified by the American Planning Association, 5 planners who live in Elk Grove, and all of us combined to more than 130 years of professional planning experience. So that brings the strength of our experience and knowledge of the community to the policies and projects we bring to the Planning Commission and to the City Council. As you know, we have hundreds of pages of general plan, zoning documents, design guidelines, but all that really comes down to managing growth and development with a few main tenets, and one of those is to respect and honor our rural heritage while growing in a sustainable way that allows families, diversity, and our business community to flourish. It truly takes a community to develop these plans and mold these developments that come forward. So again, I'd like to thank the community members that help in this process. The Planning Commission, we do have Planning Commission Chair Murphy and Vice Chair Poole here in attendance. And also the City Council. You see a number of our projects before you, and we thank you for hearing those items and making decisions on those. But most of all, I'd like to thank planning staff, not just community development planning staff, but strategic planning staff and housing staff. They're the ones that really do all the work for us to bring these projects forward to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. We get a picture?
Yeah, let's get down there, and if our planning commissioners would join us in the photo op. Yeah. That's okay. He's right here. I don't need to be in the middle all the time.
Ready, everyone? 1, 2, 3. Mark, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, please, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, there you go. As chair of the Planning Commission, I think I can speak for not only the present Planning Commission, but those that came before us and those that will precede us, follow us, I should say, and really give our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to staff, all departments. Without them, we couldn't do what we do. We're volunteers. We read the manuals, we read the codes, but we need staff to interpret it, bring in that background information so we can make a decision. And I just felt it was important that they get recognition from the Planning Commission. And thank you for this evening.
Great seeing you, Chair Murphy. All right, with that, we'll move on to our next item, which is our Arts Commission annual update. I'd like to welcome Nan Mahan.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Singh, Allen, and members of the City Council. I'm Nan Mahan, and I'm the chair of the Elk Grove Arts Commission. And it's my pleasure to be here tonight and to provide you with our annual report and introduce you to our other members of the commission. Cheryl Gray, Vice Chair, Sally Guttridge, Recorder, Liz Irons, Commissioner, and Leslie Sandifer, Commissioner, and our very, very capable staff person, Lena Yoshimura, who is also the Community Event Center Manager here. We could do nothing without her. Being artistic people, of course, we have no eye for detail, so so we need Lena. No, our mission is to promote and advocate for the arts in Elk Grove. We managed to achieve this in a variety of ways, through public art as well as performances, including visual performing and literary arts. Our projects this year were in several categories, including the percentage for the arts projects, the community beautification, murals and utility boxes, the Iris Awards, and the Moonlight Swing Concert. As you're aware, the City Council established the percentage for the arts program, which has allowed us to invest in art at some of our more recent construction projects. Cultural okay, you know what I'm saying, right? Cultivation. The kinetic structure at the Preservation of District 56 was installed in November 2021. The piece pays homage to the city's agricultural history and represents leaves sprouting from a seed pond. Ride Art Studio, the artists, are a husband and wife team based in the Bay Area. Later this year, these structures will be installed at Oasis Park near the new preschool building. The artist, Martin Webb, created them to be engaging so that children, which are represented by the blue figures there, can sit on them and climb them, and creating functional art that can be enjoyed by all ages. Old Town Plaza, which is has developed into a wonderful meeting place, will have Hello Goodbye installed in 2023. Created by Stephen Fairfield, this work pays tribute to the railroad history of Elk Grove, which brought new residents here and saw others depart from the very busy train station that once stood there. During the COVID years, the commission wanted to invest in community beautification projects, as many of us, of course, were spending more time outdoors. This led us to invest in murals as well as utility boxes around the city. We commissioned Tony Barnes, an Elk Grove resident, to paint a mural on the Laguna Creek Trail on Laguna Springs. Working with the city's Trails Commission, we wanted to feature flora, fauna, and animals that you might see along that trail. The mural was completed in January 2022. And since art inspires art, a resident who saw the Laguna Creek Trail mural and she approached the commission to create a mural on Far Poppy Drive, where it crosses Earhart Channel. We reviewed the area and decided to pursue a mural at that location. We hired Tony Barnes to paint colorful poppies along the bridge, which has added color and brightness to the area. And I might say we have gotten more positive comments on this than the other programs. Everyone seems to notice it and enjoy it. We've been working with local artists to beautify additional utility boxes in the community. We are pleased to say that we have 3 new boxes wrapped with art in our community. Jerry Simpson, who is a well-known artist here in Elk Grove, and also an Iris Award winner for his artistic work, and created the art for this box at Big Horn and Lutz Parkway near the District 56 campus. Faithful Friends by Polly Laporte is located at Elk Grove and Franklin Boulevards. It depicts our furry family members who add so much value to many people's homes. Judy Knott created this beautiful flamingo piece at East Stockton Boulevard and Sheldon Roads. Ms. Knott is an active artist in Elk Grove, and her work can be seen at many of the arts fairs and here in Elk Grove throughout the year. On May 18th, we hosted the Iris Awards. This event honors local artists for their achievements in the arts. This is a project close to my heart. This year, we honored a variety of residents who have volunteered time and talent to our community. All of them are professional artists who have achieved in their field. For literary arts, we chose Friends of the Elk Grove Library. The patron of the arts this year was Marcia Holmes. Performing arts, Nat Brown. Rising star, Stephen Kimball. And visual arts, Margaret Munson. And here are the winners. And Margaret Munson, shown with our mayor. And it was held at District 56. The Arts Commission presented the Moonlight Swing concert on June 25th, 22. It was a very hot day, but nonetheless, we had a very successful event with several hundred people enjoying the big band music. We were grateful to have Councilman Hume MC the event for us. And several of you did attend to dance to the swing music of the 1940s. This was a tribute to Glenn Miller Band, 19-piece band, a tribute to Glenn Miller. And so we went back to the beautiful days of big band music for just one evening. Overall, this year, the Arts Commission has worked to engage the community with art they can see, hear, and experience. We hope that our efforts have inspired more art to be made and have big plans for next year, which include the completion of our remaining public art projects and a new cabaret event in March at District 56. We could not accomplish what we have without the support of the City Council and with our staff. Thank you for supporting the arts in our community and for allowing me to share with you what we've accomplished. Please let me know if you have any suggestions or questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for helping to make Elk Grove more beautiful. Any other comments from my colleagues here? Questions, comments? All right. Want to thank you and the entire commission for all the great work that you do. The Vice Mayor has a couple.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, Nan, I just wanted to say just that, all the work you and the commissioners have been doing over the years. I mean, look at the progress we continue to make with all these things. It's really exciting to, the city's become more beautiful, these events that you've been putting on. So thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
It is, in fact, our pleasure and our passion to do so.
It shows. Thank you again for the update. All right, moving on in our agenda, we will go to public comments. And we have a few speakers signed up. First up is Amy McIrvin. And for all the public speakers, as a reminder, there is a 3-minute limit.
Hi,
Hello.
good evening. My name is Amy McIrvin. I have been a resident of Elk Grove for 24 years. I was a dog foster for Front Street Animal Shelter, and I wound up adopting both of my dogs from there. Over a significant period of time, I worked closely with officials at the Sacramento Animal Shelter and have never seen an animal treated as cruelly and inhumanely as Zeus has been treated during his time at the Elk Grove Animal Shelter. Zeus was taken away from his owner. He has been in isolation in a kennel for over 3 months. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional. I have 2 dogs at home. He doesn't get walks. He doesn't get to play or interact with any other dogs. And his harness was left on him for 3 months until a volunteer cut it off last week. The Elk Grove City Council has been fully aware of this. This is neglectful on their part, and this is animal abuse. I'm outraged and disgusted that city officials and employees have allowed this kind of behavior. Zeus is a little over a year old. I can't imagine the pain he is in from wearing a harness that entire time and the amount of trauma he has been put through. His owner has paid every single night that he has been in the shelter since July, and she has not been allowed to see him, not even once. I know Zeus personally. My daughter, my dogs, and myself have all interacted with Zeus and played with him weekly at various dog parks in Elk Grove for months on end. He is a sweet, loving, and happy boy. He is not a dangerous dog, nor have I ever seen him show any signs of aggression. I'm asking for Zeus to not be euthanized and to be able to live out a full life like he deserves. For German Shepherds, it can be anywhere from 9 to 13 years, and he is only 1. I am just asking for him to get to live a full life and come home to his family or go to a sanctuary. His owner has offered for him to go to a sanctuary if it will save his life. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next up is Faryal Kabir, followed by Harry.
Good evening, all the Elk Grove members and council. My name is Faryal. You all know me well now. It is regrettable that I am here today again to talk about a regrettable events that proceeded within the last couple months. I'm here to ask that you allow a sanctuary to take my puppy, my Zuzu. I call him GH, I call him Zeus. I've had him since 7 weeks old. Mr. Hobbs, make sure you listen to me, please. I'm here to ask you to allow a sanctuary to take my puppy Zeus. A sanctuary that he has experienced in dogs that have reactionarily passed. He wants an act with society. I'm here to ask you to spare his life, please. Not for my own selfishness, which I would want him to be with me all the time, but to save his life. Either way, I miss him for the rest of my life. Either way, I don't know if God will grant me prayers to save my beautiful Zuzu, but I hope that if my puppy Zeus meets me in the afterlife, whenever that may be, that he knows that everything I could do to save him, and I love him unconditionally. I did everything I could do to save him. I swear I would take his life if I could right now. I would replace him. I don't know if God will grant me my prayers to save my beautiful boy, but I hope that if my puppy Zeus meets me in the afterlife, as I said, I pray you will find in your hearts to allow my Zuzu to live safe place, away from the society, away from the public, not to end his life here and now. I'm so sorry, I just been coming from work at 5:30. Please, just listen to my plea. Mrs. Bobby St. Allen, you have dogs, I know that. And one of your dogs passed away. This dog has been with me since he was 7 weeks old.
Ma'am, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you guys.
Next up, we have Harry, followed by Robin.
Good evening, Mayor Allen, council members, everyone. My name is Harish Manchanda. I'm an Elk Grove resident. I'm an owner of 2 dogs, 2 golden retriever dogs. And I'm here in support of Faryal Kabir to request you guys to spare the life of small dog, Zeus, that I have personally played with at the dog park almost every day for more than 6 months. Never found him to be aggressive. Yes, a little different from my own dogs, golden retrievers, which are, everybody knows. He's a German Shepherd, protective of his owner. The first time ever when I saw him, and I went to say hi to Faryal, he came in between. He wouldn't let me go close to the owner. Meaning I did something, I was trying to be in her space, so he was being protective of the owner. So I'm very confident to say that it's something that we humans do to kind of aggravate, bring that behavior in them so they become more protective of their owners. I never found him to be very aggressive, played with him every day, fed him with my own hands, played with him, chased him, good over 6 months. And I'm a first-time dog owner. I used to be scared of dogs a year ago. Now, if you ask me, was he vicious, dangerous, trying to hurt me? Never. To see such a harsh punishment for a dog who has been under animal control for more than 2-3 months now, it's very heartbreaking to know. So that's my only sincere request to, for when a person like me who was scared of dogs a year ago, I could be playing with him, happy with him. He's never bit me. I fed him with my own hands, and he's played well with my 2 dogs. And people would come up to me and say, you know, your dogs are very loving, this, that, everything. But in a moment, my golden retrievers would go home with you. They're not guard dogs. They're very happy, kind. But Zeus is protective of his owner, because that's in his DNA. He's a German Shepherd dog. And I say this after hearing all these things from experienced dog owners that I meet in the dog park every day. So to put an end to a life, to put an end to the life of a dog who is not aggressive for who would come and bite somebody or kill somebody or cause such a grave problem for the society is really not fitting well in the whole picture here. So my whole request here is to please reconsider it and see if his life could be spared. I mean, there are so many other alternatives that are available out there. Maybe some consideration can be made and his life can be spared. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you, sir. Next up is Robin, followed by Juan Portillo.
Hi, my name is Robin. It's a pleasure to be here. I am from Rockland, Placer County. I have been a GS owner my entire life. I had a golden that passed away at 16 years, but I don't know this family. I'm one of those people who just did my research. I've watched every video. I was, oh my gosh, when he bit the police officer, everybody seemed to be nice. But what I do know is that the owner didn't know how to handle a German Shepherd. That Zeus he is a big loving dog. I've watched all his videos when he was a puppy, all of his pictures. And that she didn't know his weight. We could all see, I know that any police officer who's a canine handler knows that leash should never have been given to her to put on that dog in the first place. It was too long, he's a big dog, and he was also fearful. We also know that there isn't a dog on earth that can't smell the dog's the pound truck and get a little nervous. He was scared. He was frightened. He has displayed all kinds of wonderful relationships at the dog park and with other people, and this is the first. He was in a lose-lose situation. He nipped somebody. The owner didn't have control over him. He shouldn't have got out. I have a very aggressive German Shepherd. I take very good control over her. You can ask the Rockland Police Department. You know, I am on top of my dogs. I've had Gabby's from the Placer County Sheriffs. I've raised her Rottweiler puppies. I know how dangerous a dog can be and how dangerous dog bites can be. I am asking to spare Zeus. It is not the dog. A German Shepherd coming after somebody and attacking them isn't just going to bite you and go off. A German Shepherd, if it's going to attack you, that German Shepherd is going to stay on you. That dog almost immediately knew what he did was wrong. And I will take this dog and train this dog and pay the thousands of dollars, but I won't send it to 2 weeks and have somebody train it back. I can train him. I will have him with the best trainers. The owner of Ben's Barket Place said the same thing. We've all watched these videos. I know German Shepherds. I rescued the one I have from, Sacramento Rescue, oh gosh, I'm getting old. It's going to be my 60th birthday this month. For crying out loud, I can't remember. Shep Heroes, thank you. So I'm begging all of you. I'm looking at all these faces. I know the wonderful reputation of the Elk Grove Police Department. This was a lose-lose situation. I watched the video. Nobody saw the police officer that close and having it. No German Shepherd should ever be on a long leash like that. It's not the dog's fault. She is willing. I've spoken to her candidly. I am a truth talker. I'm an empath. I can't sleep since I first discovered this. The fact that that dog is in quarantine and has been in that kennel for that many months, that's wrong. It's inhumane. We have an opportunity here to take a dog like Zeus and put him in a situation where we can see success. And I beg all of you to take that consideration. Thank you.
Robin, would you take Ms. Kabir back her sign?
Oh, I knew that was a sign there.
Thank you. Next up is Juan Portillo. Hi.
Hello, good evening. My name is Juan Portillo. I'm a local dog trainer. I saw Sue's story on the news, and I felt like this is a case where I can help. I've trained many dogs that owners would say are aggressive. Way worse than what Sue's displayed on that clip that you guys saw on TV. It was an unfortunate mishandling event that happened. The handler didn't have full control of her dog. I don't think that Sue's deserves to be euthanized. I think you guys should consider giving him another chance. The reason why I'm here is in support of Ferial. My intent is to help her train her dog and also for her to become a better dog handler. So if you guys can afford that opportunity to her, that would be amazing. I'm here begging you guys to spare his life. He's not a bad dog. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our public comments. I will say that for those that are here who may not know sort of the protocol and governance of city council meetings, because these are public comment items, the council does not engage in any deliberation. So we just hear from the public. So I wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that. And for the public that may be watching, for information on this case, you can follow it on the Elk Grove Animal Services website, as well as the city's website and Elk Grove Police Department that lays out the facts, the incidents, video, and any other additional information. So that will conclude the public comments for this evening. So with that, we will transition to our next item, which is our general administration information, our city manager's report.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, Jason Behrman, City Manager. Several items, a lot of things happening in our city to report on. Just to follow up on the fact that it is Hispanic Heritage Month, there's going to be at the Neighborhood Market tomorrow night from 4 to 8. The city's going to have a special booth offering special giveaways in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month. There's also going to be a free concert that evening by Maya. Chief Bobby Davis is recruiting to fill immediate and future seats on the Elk Grove Police Department's Community Advisory Board. The CAB acts in advisory capacity is driven by the creativity and vision of its members. If you or someone you know is interested in serving on the CAB, please submit an online application on the Police Department website by this Friday, September 30th. The 28th Annual Elk Grove Giant Pumpkin Festival will be held this weekend, October 1st and 2nd at Elk Grove Park. Elk Grove Police Department is recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month in a big way this year. A specially marked pink patrol vehicle has been assigned to Officer Jennifer McHugh and will appear at local events throughout the month of October. Breast cancer survivors, warriors are invited to sign the hood at the following upcoming events: October 1st and 2nd at the Pumpkin Festival, October 5th, Coffee with the Cop at Triscate Coffee, October 13th at Neighborhood Market, District 56, October 28th at Trunk or Treat at Old Town Plaza. In celebration of California Clean Air Day, SAC-RT is offering a system-wide free rides October 1st through the 7th on bus, light rail, and on-demand SAC-RT ride shuttles. The city's Community Assistance Network will be hosting a donation drive this next Friday at City Hall, 8401 Laguna Palms Drive, from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Donations will directly benefit Elk Grove residents through local nonprofits, including the Elk Grove Food Bank, Elk Grove Homeless Assistance Resource Team, and more. For a list of items needed, please visit the city's website. Proud to announce that this Recycling and Waste Division has been awarded a $50,000 grant from Cal Recycle to host a propane exchange event at the Special Waste Collection Center. Elk Grove is one of the first cities in California to start a refillable propane exchange campaign, encouraging residents to make the switch to refillable 1-pound propane cylinders. Residents will receive incentives for exchanging single-use cylinders or signing a pledge to no longer use single-use cylinders. Additionally, the Recycling and Waste Division will implement an education and outreach campaign to communicate with the environmental benefits of using refillable cylinders. The Veterans of Foreign Wars and the American Legion Veteran Service organizations have partnered with Vet Center to provide veterans services every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Veterans Hall at District 56. Services including counseling, referrals, and connections to the VA and community-based resources. Services will be available by appointment and drop-in. For more information, call Vet Center staff at 916-566-7430. And finally, after a 3-year break due to wildfire smoke and a worldwide pandemic, staff is pleased to report that plans are underway for the return of the Veterans Day Parade on November 11th. Details will be available soon, but we want to make sure the community know that this will be back in '22, and we look forward to partnering with the American Legion and the community to honor our local veterans at this event. And that concludes my report, and happy to answer any questions the council
All right. Thank you, sir, for that report. Any council comments or questions from our city manager or for our city manager? No? All right. With that, we will move on. Thank you for that update. We have our consent calendar items. I will go ahead and open up the public comment opportunity for consent. I don't see anyone signed up, so I'll close the public comment opportunity. Any questions? Otherwise, I'll look for a motion.
Move consent.
I do have some questions, and I may want an item to be pulled if
Okay,
my
yes,
questions aren't
the
answered.
floor is yours.
Okay, so first of all, I have a comment on item 7.9, which is I believe it's an MOU with the city of Sacramento County and SMUD on electrification of buildings. And my comment is simply that if you can represent at the table, the complexity of supply chain issues. And so that as we look at a rollout and an implementation, you can't just, sorry for this bad pun that I didn't realize, but you can't flip a switch and all of a sudden have everything's, when you're going from water heaters, for example, electric water heaters that have a demand right now of 5 per month, and you jack that up to 3,000 per month, there's not a supply chain in place to keep track with that. So not to mention that our grid is, so anyway, supports our climate action plan, so move forward, but recognize to tread lightly. And then the next one's on 713, which is the MOU with Crown Castle for the fiber. To whom should I direct questions on that? You, Jeff? So I'm curious, is there anything about this pilot program or rollout demonstration that binds us to use Crown Castle for the fiber installation going forward?
No, in fact, the fiber installation is their own private network, and so we're not bound to them in any way. The MOU provides them the opportunity to utilize this technology in our streets. It's a proprietary technology to them. We've tested it out on a street already. We were comfortable with the results enough to move forward with a wider spread deployment.
Okay. And so then I guess my question then is this fiber for small cell antenna use only and not for, say, fiber for data transfer to commercial buildings?
So excuse me, my understanding is that the size of the fiber right now will support their small cell deployment. There will be some dark fibers left over that they can sell off or lease to other customers.
Okay.
I'm not sure what their intent is fully for the rest of the fiber that's available.
And that leads me right into my final question, which is I know that Rancho Cordova is doing a whole fiber city program right now with their fiber rollout, and that there is a licensing that goes along with that infrastructure in place. And so much like you would have a toll lane, if you will, on a highway, it's the same thing that you pay to license the capacity on that fiber. Are we aware of all the moving parts related to that and whether or not there's an opportunity for the city to be involved in that transaction, and or are we staying clear of it? I just want to make sure that we know the marketplace and we know what Crown Castle's role would be and
Yeah, so I've actually reached out to Rancho Cordova. We've received information on their Sci-Fi program. That's the company that they're working with. And so we're aware of that. We're exploring several options and opportunities for broadband deployment and access within the city of Elk Grove. We haven't really settled on one solution at this point. We are certainly making efforts to roll out our own fiber for our own transportation and traffic system network. That's our preference at this point, is to have fiber that we control for our system. As far as the public access goes, right now we're leaving it open to competition with the private industry, all the while looking at options to provide more access, cheaper access to Wi-Fi throughout the city. So we haven't settled on one solution just yet, but we are aware of what Rancho Cordova and other cities are doing, and we continue to explore what's the right solution for Elk Grove.
Well, as I understand it, I mean, this is kind of the Wild West right now as far as people wrapping their heads around how it's all going to work, and I would hate for us to miss out on a franchise fee opportunity or something like that if we were to have a preferable fiber provider. I think CJ wanted to tack on something.
Thank you, Councilmember. If I can just piggyback on Jeff's comment, we are, you'll see at your next agenda a grant that we've received to study broadband and internet services around the community and the digital equity and potential divide that's there. So it's something we are paying attention to and doing some investigation on, and hope to have more to share at a future meeting.
And just one more follow-up with the Crown Castle agreement. They are reserving some fiber for us along these lines as well. 4 strands, it's not a whole lot, but it is something in case we need to access to that fiber, tie into a traffic signal or camera for police, public safety services as well. So it is something that we did get sort of a franchise fee, if you will, for this particular deployment, but it's not widespread enough to make a widespread benefit or a wholesale benefit for the entire city at this point.
Great. Well, thank you. You've allayed my concerns that you at least are aware of what you know and what you should know, and now we just got to figure out what we don't know.
Yeah, and I would add to that the Vice Mayor and I had an opportunity to meet with Crown Council and our Public Works with the micro trenching and the technology. It's very innovative and cutting edge. And we are one of the first cities that will be utilizing this technology. So it's a pretty exciting opportunity, particularly as it relates to our smart city plans.
Minimal disturbance to our streets, so
Yeah.
protecting those assets as well.
Yeah, like literally, it's what, half an inch, an inch?
Yeah,
And it's
about,
laid
it's
down
1
there.
to
It's
2
pretty
inches
amazing.
deep. It's a small slot in the pavement.
Yeah.
It avoids the need for boring, which
Yeah.
is very problematic and imprecise at sometimes.
Yeah.
To cross-bore our own utilities and gas lines and other things. So we're pretty excited at the potential of this. Certainly treading lightly as it relates to protecting our pavements. As you know, we pride ourselves on here, so.
Good, great, thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Did we get a second?
Yes.
If not, I'll
Yes.
second.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right. Our next item, public hearings, item 8.1. A public hearing to adopt an ordinance ratifying and adopting the amended and restated agreement of formation of the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission and amending Chapter 5.50 of the Elk Grove Municipal Code to incorporate Sacramento County Code Chapter 5.50 into the Elk Grove Municipal Code by reference. Hello, Ash.
Mayor and City Council members, I'm Ash Kumar, Management Analyst in the City Manager's Office. As you might recall from the last meeting, the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission and the Joint Powers Authority Agreement are set to expire on December 31st, 2024. Based on our findings that were presented at the last meeting, staff recommends adoption of an ordinance ratifying and adopting the amended and restated agreement of formation for the Cable Television Commission and amending Chapter 5.50 of the Elk Grove Municipal Code to incorporate Sacramento County Code 5.50 into the Elk Grove Municipal Code by reference. While there is no formal presentation, if you have any questions or would like more information, I'd be happy to share more information with you.
All right, thank you for that. I'll declare that the public hearing is now open. I don't see anyone signed up, so I'll close the public comment opportunity and declare the public hearing is closed. And this is a second reading, so we don't need to read the entire ordinance again. So are there any questions or comments from colleagues? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Motion.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, next item, item 8.2, a public hearing to consider an ordinance approving the First Amendment to the Richland Communities Laguna Ridge Development Agreement. Welcome back, Antonio.
Thank you, Mayor Singh Allen, members of the City Council, Antonio Ablog, Planning Manager, here to present to you item 8.2, which is the First Amendment to the Richland Communities Laguna Ridge Development Agreement. I'm here tonight to present the project, which is to amend the recently adopted Richland Communities Laguna Ridge Development Agreement. This amendment would add the Madera South subdivisions, phases 6 and 7, a total of approximately 17.38 acres, to the DA area. If you recall, that DA was just recently heard by the Planning Commission, I believe in late July. Other than the addition of that property, there would be no other substantive changes to the development agreement. This project is located in the southern portion of Laguna Ridge. The map before you depicts the existing development agreement coverage, which has been executed. And again, this amendment would add Madera South phases 6 and 7, which you see on the east of the property, which is on the right side of the map, approximately 17 acres, totaling 95 residential lots. With the addition of those 95 lots, the overall development agreement coverage would be approximately 315 acres and total 1,405 lots. As far as development agreements in general, it would increase the certainty of developing these properties out. It would give assurance to developers that they have until June of 2027 to execute those maps. As far as the exact terms, again, it would extend those maps to 2027. It would limit the city's ability to apply new zoning regulations, new development standards, and so forth. It will ensure the delivery and completion of the Laguna Ridge major infrastructure, and it would allow city to sell their sewer credits, our own sewer credits, to the developer to more quickly recoup those costs. And it would also allow the city to collect on various development fees that weren't in effect at the time of those map approvals. This project does not require any further environmental review. The project is compliant with the EIR that was certified as part of the Laguna Ridge development. There is no changes to the intensity or development that were originally studied. Staff does recommend the City Council find no further environmental review is necessary and adopt an ordinance approving this First Amendment. I just recently heard from the representative of the applicant, Melinda Backer. She's ill tonight, but she does extend her thanks to the City Council for hearing this item tonight. I'm available to answer any questions should you have any. Thank you.
All right, thank you for that. I'll declare the public hearing is open, and you just mentioned that the applicant is unavailable this evening?
Correct.
All right, I don't see anybody signed up to speak, so I will close the public comment opportunity and declare the public hearing is closed. Any questions or comments from colleagues? Go ahead.
Melinda Backer's name I haven't heard in a long time, so I'm glad she's doing well. I'd be happy to make a motion unless any of my colleagues want to make a comment.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'll move to introduce and waive the full reading by substitution of title only, an ordinance finding no further environmental review is required pursuant to state CEQA guidelines, section 15162, and authorizing the city manager to execute the First Amendment to the Richland Communities Laguna Ridge Development Agreement, PLNG 22-048.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, on to our next item, item 8.3. A public hearing to consider a resolution approving the fiscal year 2021-2022 Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Reports.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I am Alicia Tutt, your Housing and Grant Specialist. The item I have for you tonight is our Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report, also known as the CAPER. This annual report describes how our community development block grant funds were used during the 21-22 program year. The report is required to be submitted by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development within 90 days of our close of our program year. The report was included as part of your packet. However, to highlight some of the accomplishments, the city received $946,683 in entitlement CDBG funding. Those funds allowed the city to carry out a number of housing and community development programs that targeted primarily low-income households. Funded projects included senior meals, case management, landlord-tenant and fair housing counseling, and emergency and transitional housing. The city also utilized CDBG funds to implement 2 ADA curb ramp and sidewalk infill projects, bringing 84 curb ramps into compliance. Additionally, in 21-22, we continue to utilize CDBG coronavirus funds to prevent, prepare for, and respond to coronavirus through various activities, including emergency food distribution and utility assistance to low-income residents impacted by the COVID-19 public health emergency, and providing meals to seniors who are at greater risk for severe illness with COVID-19, allowing them to safely continue to shelter in place and reduce outings to help decrease their risk of contracting COVID-19. As part of the citizen participation process, a public notice was published earlier this month, and the report has been available in several public locations as well as on the city's website for a 15-day public review period and comment period. We have not received any comments, public comments prior to tonight's meeting. Tonight, I'm asking that at the conclusion of the public hearing, council approves the report so that we may submit it to HUD, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you for your report. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing is open and open up the public comment opportunity. I don't see anybody signed up, so I'll close the public comment opportunity and declare the public hearing is closed. Any questions or comments for Alicia? If not, I'll look for a motion.
Just want to thank Alicia for all her work on this. And the time it takes for you to review everything and make sure, you know, you hear in the news lately about, I think it's $250 million of abuse that for COVID relief funds. And so it takes a lot of work for city staff to make sure that we don't get caught up in that and making sure things are done right. So really appreciate your work.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, I'll look for a motion.
I'll move the motion.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, item 8.4. Conduct a public hearing in consideration of resolutions calling special elections and declaring results of the special elections to annex certain territory as described to Community Facilities District. Police Services for the Madera South Village 5 project, Annex 64 to Community Facilities District number 2006-1, Maintenance Services for the Bendel Place Warehouse project, Annexation 84, to Street Maintenance District number 1, Zone 5B for the Madera South Village 5 project, and to Stormwater Drainage Fee Zone 2 for the Bendel Place Warehouse project, and to introduce ordinances levying and apportioning the special tax to the annexing areas. Thank you.
Good job, Mayor. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. I'm Renee Attar, Finance Analyst for the city. I'm here again this evening with a presentation for proposed annexations into the city special tax districts. So, as you know, the city maintains 8 special tax districts which provide funding for infrastructure for services. Annexations into the appropriate districts are typically part of a new development project's approval process. The requirements are specific for each project and vary according to the geographic location and building use. Special taxes are subject to annual rate adjustments. So on August 10th, 2022, the City Council adopted resolutions of intent to annex the parcels for the Madera South Village 5 and Bendel Place Warehouse projects, and to establish tonight's public hearings. The projects are being proposed for annexation into the following various special tax districts: CFD 2003-2 for public safety services, CFD 2006-1 for maintenance services, Street Maintenance District 1, Zone 5 for local collector and arterial street maintenance, and Stormwater Drainage Fee Zone 2 for stormwater drainage. This, as you said, Madam Mayor, is the 64th annexation into CFD 2003-2, the 84th annexation into CFD 2006-1, the 25th annexation into Street Maintenance District 1, Zone 5, and the 57th annexation into Stormwater Drainage Fee Zone 2. All of these assessments will be levied in perpetuity. What are these projects? The first project is Madera South Village 5, which consists of 52 single-family units located southwest of White Log Parkway and Bighorn Boulevard. This project was annexed into Laguna Ridge CFD 2005-1 in March 2021. And then the second project is Bendel Place Warehouse, which consists of 2 single-story warehouse buildings located on about under an acre, a non-residential acre, located southwest of Elk Grove Boulevard and Waterman Road. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
All right, thank you for that. At this time, let's see, we have a number of public hearings. The first, CFD 2003-2, Annex 64. I will declare the public hearing for CFD 2003-2, Annex 64 is open, and open the public comment opportunity. I don't see anybody signed up, so I will close the public comment opportunity and declare that the public hearing for CFD 2003-2, Annex 64 is closed.
A1.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, may I request the results of the ballot tabulation?
Indeed, of 52 possible votes, 52 affirmative votes were cast, authorizing the city of Elk Grove to levy a special tax at the rate apportioned and described. The measure passes with more than 2/3 of all votes cast in the election in favor of the measure. A resolution declaring the results of the election is available for council consideration.
Move A2.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. And then I'll move A3, introduce and waive the full reading by substitution of title only, an ordinance levying and apportioning the special tax in the 64th annexation to Community Facilities District number 2003-2, Police Services, and amending Elk Grove Municipal Code Section 3.18.010.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're on to our second public hearing. At this time, I'll declare the public hearing for CFD 2006-1 Annex 84 open and open up the public comment opportunity. No one has signed up to speak, so I'll close the public comment opportunity and declare the public hearing for CFD 2006-1 Annex 84 is closed.
Move motion B1.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And what are the results of the ballot tabulation?
Of one possible vote, one affirmative vote was cast authorizing the city of Elk Grove to levy a special tax at the rate apportioned and described. The measure passes with more than 2/3 of all votes cast in the election in favor of the measure. A resolution declaring the results of the election is available for council consideration.
Motion B2.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'll move to introduce and waive the full reading by substitution of title only, an ordinance levying and apportioning the special tax and territory annexed to the Community Facilities District number 2006-1 Maintenance Services, annexation number 84, and amending Elk Grove Municipal Code section 3.19.010.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, our third public hearing. I will declare the public hearing for SMD 5-V Annex 25 open and open up the public comment opportunity. No one has signed up to speak, so I'll close the public comment opportunity and declare the public hearing for SMD 5-V Annex 25 is closed. And request the results of the ballot tabulation.
There is no majority protest of 52 possible votes weighted according to the proportional financial obligation for each property. 52 affirmative votes were returned. The ballots approved the proposed assessments and the proposed inflation adjustment limit described for the parcel identified in the ballot. A resolution determining to levy assessments in the district is available for council consideration.
Move motion C.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, our fourth public hearing, I'll declare the public hearing for SWGF Annex 57 open and open up the public comment opportunity. No one has signed up to speak, so I'll close the public comment opportunity and declare the public hearing for SWGF Annex 57 closed. May I request the results of the ballot tabulation?
There is no majority protest of one possible vote weighted according to the proportional financial obligation for the property. One affirmative vote was returned. The ballot approves the proposed assessments and the proposed inflation adjustment limit described for the parcels identified in the ballot. A resolution determining to levy assessments in the district is available for council consideration.
Move motion D.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, next item, clerk.
We have no regular agenda action items under Section 9, so that will advance us to Section 10, council comments, reports, and future agenda items.
All right, does anyone have a report? I'll start to the left. Councilmember Hume?
Nothing.
Vice Mayor?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Councilmember Spies?
I do have something quick. I was talking to a business owner today along Elk Grove Florin Road. There is currently partial closure for construction housing across the street from Elk Grove Florin. That isn't a particular problem. What he had asked me was, is there a way that the owners of places that are affected by partial closures, is there a way that we can be informed of this? When people ask me those sorts of questions, I direct them to the website where you can subscribe for these types of things. I did look and I did see that there, when we have road closures for parades or fairs or festivals or whatever, there is a traffic alert, right? But there wasn't anything in particular for traffic closures or anything like that. I would assume that when they do a partial closure, they probably have to get a permit, some sort of review. So it's not something that I need to have a report back on. It's not something that has to be resolved tonight, but I'm asking you to please take a look and see if you can add a category that is specifically traffic alerts, right? So that someone could, whether they get there or not to sign up for it is a different story, they could subscribe to get that information.
So we do have that, and I'll make sure staff sends you directly the link for that webpage so that you have access to it. You can respond to your constituents appropriately. We do have lane closures, road closures, the whole gamut is there, should be there.
I didn't see it, but that doesn't mean that I was in the right place.
Totally. We'll make
Okay.
sure we get you to the right place, and I'll
Yes.
investigate whether or
Right.
not.
And it is, I'm constantly trying to explain to folks, look, go to the website, find out what interests you, subscribe to it. But you can lead a horse
More
to water.
awareness.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Wind?
Just real quick, I want to thank our Vice Mayor Darren Soon for joining me in our Autumn Moon Festival and Movie Night in the park for the first time. We did that here in the city of Elk Grove. It was very well attended. Everybody is hoping we can bring it back again next year. And then the following week, I held another movie night in the park at District 56. And I want to thank our city manager and the staff really just for the assist and making sure that it was ready. It was very well attended. Everybody loved it, asked if we were going to continue. And I said no, but hopefully the council can continue it at some point. It's a great way for families to come out and just enjoy a free movie. Weather got really nice, and we have that big field right there, and so it was perfect for it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I've seen those, Natomas does this, like they were doing it, I think, weekly in the park. So it is something, if the city wants to look at it and maybe even partner with others, definitely a great opportunity.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
So, yeah, and I want to thank Explore Elk Grove for a fantastic event at the same time. So sorry, couldn't make yours. But it was sold out, and it was great to see so many people at the Uncorked, Uncapped event. Just a historical evening, great turnout, and I think everybody enjoyed themselves. So I don't have any other reports. So before I get to the adjournment, I do want to adjourn in the memory of somebody who is very special to myself, and I don't know if you've heard, Vice Mayor, I meant to talk to you earlier. She was a brilliant educator in our school district, Shelley Clark Dixon, who was a longtime resident before she moved to Midtown. Unfortunately, she succumbed to her illness after a courageous 19-month battle. She's our age, and it's just heartbreaking. She leaves behind a husband, a family, 2 beautiful daughters, and her impact was just so tremendous in education. The children in elementary ed just responded so beautifully to her. She just had a unique and special way with children. And so our hearts go out to her family, and particularly to her 2 beautiful daughters. And I'd like to adjourn in her memory and send our condolences to her, and may her memory be a blessing to everybody that knew her. Thank you.
Mayor, thank you. Just if I could just add, I mean, she was also our kids' principal for a while at their elementary school, our elementary school, and so just to attest to what you were saying, just a fantastic human being, Elk Grove Unified, and all of us and the community just lost someone great. So thank you.
One of the greats. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. The meeting is adjourned 7:28.